you forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah,
That's one of my great fears. When I want to sit down to an interview, because a lot of the stuff I got to shoot myself.
Yeah.
I'll be halfway through the interview and I'm talking to the other guy and I'm thinking,
lens cap.
God, did I hit record?
All right, lens cap on, or something like that, or
shoot, man.
Change the tape.
So you want to redo the open?
No, I have it on here. I just don't have it on the YouTube. That's all. We missed all this great stuff with Carol O'Connor.
Too bad. I could do this all day.
I know.
Me too.
I just have to be in Nevada by 11 something. So, okay, let me get this here.
Well, the folks in Nevada are going to have to
wait. That's true.
Yeah.
Then I got to be back at my house at 4:30. Today's one of those busy days. Why am I so busy? I don't know.
If you come in the house at 4:35, will she hit you over the head with a frying pan?
Oh yeah.
Because
we have
a rolling pin.
That's right.
Where go the couch?
There you
go. Actually, we've got a construction worker guy coming, and I got to meet with him.
Gotcha. Porn store.
The what?
It sounds like the beginning of a porn electricity.
Yeah, no. Okay, what do you want to cover first? I have a couple of things here.
I think this week, I think the number one topic, since considering the show runs on Saturday, is teams that are shaping themselves up for this NFL playoff run. Just my personal opinion, because you've got some teams that were thought to be pretenders, all of a sudden coming in and winning games, and like who'd have thought the Jets would have 4 wins?
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
who saw the Jets Raiders game?
Actually, I think the Vikings are a really big sleeper for a lot of people. I didn't think they'd really do much.
And I tell you, the Ravens,
we could talk about that. Like who's the MVP? Is it Lamar Jackson? 5 touchdown passes last night.
I would not give it to him.
Yeah.
Or Russell Wilson, who was
Seattle would be nowhere without
he was the
Russell
front
Wilson.
runner.
They'd be like a 5 or 6 win team with that.
True.
Their defense is okay, but it's not on the same level, and they really don't have a great running back. Chris Carson's okay, but he's not, the same way that Lamar Jackson.
What is it with the Rams?
But Wilson's the linchpin on that one. He's the
Houdini.
Yeah, he's the king.
Yeah, you can't stop him. Well, we start recording. We're
let's play and record, man. We're leaving all this material out to YouTube land. Yeah.
All right, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. All right, guys, let's start off with the NFL.
Let's do it.
Okay. Front runner for MVP?
Oof, that's
still last night.
At the beginning of the season, everybody thought, it was Russell Wilson. Where would Seattle be? We talked off the air without him.
Mahomes.
Mahomes out of the AFC. Those guys. Who's going to catch those guys? And then along comes Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And Lamar Jackson. I mean, again, and a lot of the NFL pundits are like, it's got to be the 6'5" rocket arm quarterback. He's got to stay in the pocket. Yeah, can't run. That's the NFL quarterback. And then, running quarterbacks started coming and not only running and extending plays, actually making all the throws.
Yeah, that's the big difference. That's what sets him apart from Colin Kaepernick and even Michael Vick to this extent. I mean, Michael Vick really did rely on his legs a lot more than his arms in the early part of his career. It only was at the very end of his career that he did, start being more of a throwing than running.
Yeah, and I credit John Harbaugh and the offensive coordinator for changing his offense to fit the style for Lamar Jackson. And I don't know what quarterback coach he's working with on the throws, but he always had arm strength, but the zip and the accuracy, yes,
perfect,
or what factored in 5 passing touchdowns on Monday Night Football. And I think if you just walked up to somebody on the street and went, "Hey, Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdowns," they're like, "Oh, well, he must have run in 3."
Yeah,
no.
Well, the Rams
last night,
just don't have any defense, it seems.
Last night, before the Rams even blinked, they were down 21-3.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what happened to them. And they were just shell-shocked from the moment, the first touchdown went in. I don't think the Rams were ready to give up points that early.
And Lamar Jackson is 22 years old. I mean, he's still he's just still coming on, and I don't think
he's
I
so
don't-
big. You don't even talk about Tom Brady being 10-1. You don't talk about Garoppolo being 10-1. We're all talking about Lamar.
because he's exciting.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's a threat every time the ball is in his hands.
Because you don't know if he's going to run it. Which I got to think, if I'm a head coach, I'm always going to be very nervous when I see my quarterback run. But I love it though, because it just adds so much more to your offense. You don't know if he's going to run, throw, hand off. I mean, it's just too much.
Which makes me look forward to, I guess, one of the 4 games that I have circled for Sunday when the 49ers come to town to play at Baltimore. I have been to that stadium. It is a hard place to play. It is loud,
Cold.
and I know the 49ers have a great defense, but this is going to be a true test for Robert Saleh, who's the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. Fred Warner, okay, he is their best linebacker, and you got Dre Greenlaw on the other end. Those are the guys that have to set the edge, the outside, to contain a running quarterback, to keep him from going to the outside. If Lamar Jackson gets to the outside and breaks contain, boy, it is trouble.
Well, their track record isn't fantastic this year when you look at how they struggled a lot against Russell Wilson in the Monday Night Football game.
Talking about the Niners.
Yeah, the Niners. When they face Lamar, and then they didn't look so great, up against the Cardinals. They definitely have trouble containing a very agile running quarterback.
Chasing around quarterbacks that they even describe as like chasing around squirrels back there. And as you saw on Sunday Night Football, as the whole country saw what they can do against a quarterback that stays in the pocket.
Oh yeah,
in the Green Bay Packers.
Doesn't Garoppolo make you a little nervous because he seems very skittish?
Yes, he's made a lot of mistakes.
I think for the 49ers to win this game in Baltimore, it can't just be on Garoppolo. Here's the ball, get us out of this. They have to be able to run the football. That is the DNA of the 49ers Shanahan team. They have to be able to run.
Well, I disagree just slightly with you there, Vern, in the sense that they have to utilize their running backs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be handoffs. We're seeing more of the short screen passes, getting the ball out in the flat to the running backs. They're all very good receiving running backs. They all have talent in grabbing that ball in the air and making stuff happen with them, and they're able to separate themselves out. Plus, they're taking advantage of Kittle being back in and being able to block and be a diversion that allows them to really get that ball out in the air. Now, the thing is, every once in a while, Garoppolo will throw to the other guy, and it seems like it's just a brain-dead mistake. He can't do that against Baltimore. He will pay a huge price.
As opposed to most coaches who script their first 15 plays, Kyle Shanahan likes to script his first 24 plays.
Yeah.
12 passing, 12 running plays, and then let's just see what happens. And I agree with you. He's going to have to, first of all, hopefully win the toss and get the ball first. None of this deferring. Not in this game. Not in a game like this. And then he really has to mix it up as a play caller to try and keep the Baltimore defense off balance.
Let's get some flea flickers in there.
Well, and Baltimore hasn't been, except for a couple very short occasions, especially recently, they haven't been behind. They have racked up big points early, and then the defense is ready to unload, especially once the running game isn't a factor. Like last night, once Gurley was really taken out of the game, I mean, the Rams were truly at Baltimore's mercy, and Baltimore does not have any mercy. So that, doesn't work so well if you're 49ers. Now, that being said, the 49ers, are one bad kick away, which should have been an easy kick, from being undefeated right now.
Right.
And that's one thing that it's been an amazing season, because normally Tom Brady would be, I think, the topic of everybody's football conversation. And nobody talks about him right now, and he's 10-1 and looking just as good as he ever has in any year when he's won a title. But he's being overshadowed by a few of these stories.
And speaking of Tom Brady, and I don't know how we're doing on time on this segment, but that brings up an interesting thing about another game that I have circled for Sunday, and that would be New England at the Houston Texans.
Yeah, no, that'll be a good one. Let's see. Before we go to break, just really quickly, I love the fact that the Packers linebacker, Preston Smith, buys Rolex watches for his entire defense as he gives credit to all of the defense for helping him reach 10 sacks, which is really true because if your cornerbacks and safeties are covering everyone, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get a sack, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Rolex watches, I mean, it's kind of that's been going on for years.
I know, but I just think, but he bought it for the entire defense, though. Not just like, your front for the front four.
That's just a fraction of a game check.
Yeah,
Rolex watches.
Well, it depends if it's the presidential one.
Yeah.
It's a $10,000 watch. Well, it used to be $10,000
Even those guys
30 years ago.
Several $10,000 watches.
No, I guess my whole point is I appreciate when guys give credit to the entire defense.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like a quarterback does really well. You give credit to your linemen.
Those are the dogs. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Otherwise,
Speaking of linemen, and this is in local TV. When you work in a sports department, and which is an arm of the newsroom, where it's mostly the news gathering, news dominates the first 2 blocks of say like a half-hour newscast. Well, in a sports department in local TV, we're the offensive linemen. Of the whole thing. I mean, we kind of do our job. We kind of hold the blocks. We kind of we're only called in the carpet if something goes wrong,
Gotcha.
like holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, we're just pretty
No
much
chat.
So one day we're going to see like a big
walk
yellow
around
flag,
in animosity.
a big yellow flag come across the screen.
Well, we hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here's our first commercial break. We're talking sports controversies here. This boxer was stripped of his silver medal in the 1952 Olympics for not being aggressive enough. That's kind of strange.
And we've heard of this boxer
yes,
before.
You have. He later had a great deal of success as a professional.
What weight class?
I think he was a heavyweight.
Heavyweight,
Yeah,
1952.
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Of course, heavyweight in 1952 is probably 160 pounds, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think he was kind of a big guy.
Okay.
So anyway, that's our trivia question. Email Edward at sportecon101.com. The answer to this question, see if you know it. This boxer was stripped of his silver medal in the 1952 Olympics for not being aggressive enough. That's kind of that's weird.
Yeah.
Stripped of a silver. Well, of course, it was a silver medal.
To use the words boxing and not aggressive in the same
kind of
sentence.
tough,
Yeah, it seems weird.
Maybe it was Marcus of Queensbury. Okay, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. You remember that's how we get the Marcus of Queensbury rules, right? Go in your corner and don't hit a guy that's down.
Yeah.
And don't use a roll of quarters. One of the wrestlers used to say, "It's not a foreign object. I bought this down the block over at Kmart."
Yeah.
Good old USA.
That's funny. We did that in an interview or or
yeah.
on the stage.
Yes. I went in an interview.
That's funny.
So then I guess what do you have next on the agenda, or we can talk about
we'll
the NBA stuff.
we'll pick up. I'll do a little thought on Patriots Texans, and then we go on to
the NBA. I think unless you have,
sure.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on load management.
Yeah.
And it certainly has an economic component to it.
Yes.
Whereas what we're talking about now is more guys chewing fat about football, which not necessarily a huge economic thing, but I don't think there's any really large economic issues in football going on right now. It's kind of not that we're in the season.
All we care about is just doing good radio.
Oh,
Right.
hey, good
Dan's
radio.
gonna
This
give
is
me
fun
the,
stuff.
He's going to get me the stats within the next couple of days because we've been kind of growing like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And then you'll have this show. And
Come on, give yourself more credit there. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Russell Jackman and Vern Glenn. See, I kind of mixed up.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Top billing. I like that.
Okay. This boxer, we're talking sports controversy. This boxer was stripped of his silver medal in 1952 Olympics for not being aggressive enough. What was he, boxing nobody or something?
I don't know.
Ingemar Johansson.
Ingemar Johansson.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't coming to the front of my
No.
thought process. So
I thought it'd be somebody like that, but I didn't know if that was the answer.
All right.
Wow.
You wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah.
Houston.
Continue with the NFL. The one of the games I have circled is Patriots at Texans, and that could be the Patriots' second loss of the season.
Why do
The
you say that?
Texans,
That's interesting.
because if you've been to NRG,
Yes.
man, it
Wow.
again, it's a tough place to play. I think the Texans have kind of rallied behind defensively after the loss of the season of J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. I mean, another one of these tough quarterbacks, just gunslinging, got runs around, then throws deep, and then somehow a receiver gets open. That's how they're winning these games.
I think a lot of seriously stepping back from the equation, when you have these running quarterbacks, I think that's what's elevating the NFL back to where it's capturing people's interest a lot more than
what do you think? I
Well,
agree with that.
I actually will go with New England in that contest, and I look at just Tom Brady. It just is finding a way to win games, and the New England defense is really being underrated by a lot of folks there. I think that Deshaun will have his hands full, and they were able to just. I mean, the Cowboys were desperate to win that game against New England, and New England didn't really need it. I mean, they've got their division pretty much sewn up. The rest of that division is just garbage, right? You know, the AFC East. I mean, Bills or the Dolphins.
Bills coming up. Dolphins still in the tank.
Do you think any of them really stand a chance against slowing down
No.
New England? No. So they already are like playing for a bye. That's the main thing that they're playing for. And I think that they just are able. Bill Belichick is unfortunately. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his, but he's probably the greatest mind in football. He's able to take a team year after year that doesn't get a great draft pick, that usually has no star wide receiver that you can think of other than maybe Julian Edelman. He's not that great. And they don't, Sony Michel.
Local kid, you know that?
Yeah, yes.
Redwood City boy.
Right. And then you have Sony Michel as their main running back. He doesn't really blow anybody's doors away. I mean, he's good when he can play, but he's been hurt a lot. And yet still, here they are, 10-1.
Yeah.
And not making any apologies for it. So I just think that train keeps rolling on Sunday.
I'm still going with the Texans in an upset on Sunday. Hey, the other game, just for almost, just because the comedy of the fact that they're playing twice in 17 days, Browns and Steelers, Mason Rudolph, but there's no Myles Garrett in this one, and this is from the last 8 seconds of the first time they played the meltdown on the Ohio River.
Well, they benched Mason last week. Towards the end of the game.
Yeah, but that's right. That's right.
So I don't even know if he's going to even play. And you know why? Why bother? Pittsburgh is a dumpster fire that's being pushed off a cliff. I have half that team on my fantasy teams, and they are tanking me. Connor can't stay healthy. Jalen Samuels has no impact as a running back. Juju McSchuster's hurt. They never really recovered from Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown.
Did Rudolph? What kind of injury did he suffer from getting hit in the head with his own helmet?
Nothing. It was the little soft padding part.
No, they got fined with $54,000.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because you look at it, and it didn't look that bad, but then it's still like, he got kind of cracked on his head.
If he'd been hit with the crown of the helmet,
then he would have been knocked out.
Yeah.
And it just, you can't have anything like that. It's just. You can't, just like in baseball, you never see anyone use a bat anymore as a weapon since what was it? Yeah, that's just, and in hockey, you just aren't allowed to use the stick. And in the NBA, after the Rudy Tomjanovich injury, the NBA won't let any big brawls happen. It just, you can't have that kind of violence on the field.
And the last game I'm looking at on the calendar for the weekend is Raiders at Chiefs. That's my game. I'll be going to Kansas City. Right after this show airs.
Wow.
Anyway, it's because it's a share of first place on the line for the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, one game ahead, have to kind of keep winning. But the Raiders, I was in MetLife Stadium for the Jet game. They were not mentally ready to play that game.
And how could they not be mentally ready?
Yeah. What happened?
It's just human nature. I think they thought they could just suit up, walk in, and I think they took the Jets too lightly. But the NFL, it is hard to win in the NFL. This is not Michigan against the Akron Zips week in and week out. I mean, these are grown men that have fought to make a roster of 53. And I don't care if you're the Miami Dolphins. At some point,
Well,
You're going to win a game.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is still giving it a tough shot.
Yeah. Cincinnati plays hard.
Sure.
I mean, they've lost games, but does that mean they're complete garbage because they're 0-11?
No, they didn't get blown out every game.
No, in fact, if you think about the first game the 49ers had against them, Cincinnati kind of held themselves in somewhat of a decent, we didn't know how good the 49ers were going to be.
Right.
But, you look back on it and go, wow, why would they having so much trouble with a team that's now 0-11? But, at the time, we didn't know that. So,
hey, I want to change subject for just a quick minute here. I want to ask you guys what we think about this. So there's this coach that gets suspended for running up the score 61-13.
At what level?
I think it could have been, you know what, that's a good question. I don't think it was college. I think it was high school. I think
Okay.
so.
But he got suspended.
He gets suspended
by
okay, so the rule mandates that the coach, if he wins more than 42 points, he must submit in writing the lengths to which he went to avoid running up the score. But here's the part that's kind of interesting too, is the coach, so coach did not take out the starters fast enough, but the other coach didn't complain. I mean, he's basically saying, yeah, my kids ought to be playing harder. Or, you score when you score.
Well, it's tough love. If you're the losing coach, you're like, hey, if this was the real world, is some company going to take their foot off the throats of a competitor and a high stakes maybe deal that has to be made? No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there's no submission. There's no I'm tapping out. There's no. I mean, that's just the business.
Yeah, I mean, you may want to take out your starters because you don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah, and I don't. And even if it's at the high school level, I mean, again, this is not Pee Wee football where everybody gets a trophy and everybody gets a participant, form, and it's orange peels at the end of the game. It's not. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just not. It's just not like that. So if you're going to get roughed up and lose by 50 or whatever it is, then hey, that's just kind of the way it is.
That's it. And you just teach your kids, okay, what did we do wrong? What could we have done better? And,
I'm going to say whatever league that is, that league's mamby-pamby.
And
for having that rule in.
I guess one thing is would be a little bit of factors if you're still throwing like 80-yard passes, when you're up.
Part of it's practice too. It's like you
practice hand the
ball.
ball.
No, just hand the ball off. It's
be done with it.
Yeah, it's an unwritten rule. You just start running the football. You
just take the time off the clock.
Now, if the defense is a sieve and they can't tackle, then so be it. But yeah, you don't want to chuck it, for chunk plays of 30 and 40 yards for touchdowns.
Well, it's like
when you're up by 50.
And then there was some of these. I think I remember even seeing a pro game where it's like the guy, he was ready to go in for a touchdown. And he realized, well, we're already up enough, so we just kind of
so he fell down
first. Yeah. It's like, come on, then you just make them play that much more. I mean, it's just I don't know.
Well, if it's a division game, you're gonna have to play that team again.
And sometimes if you're looking for certain kind of poll rankings, you want to beat a team by as much as you can to try to move up in the polls.
Which makes me think about the Alabama Crimson Tide. What a position they're in on the outside looking in. The Big Four.
That's all right. We've seen enough of them, haven't we?
Well, I think those in the southern part of the United States would disagree with that.
I don't think we get a lot of ratings from there. So
we get them from all over the place.
Well, you know what?
The tentacles of this show are far-reaching more than you think.
All right, Alabama, you bring it on.
Well, the people in LSU would disagree. They would.
Yes, I've seen enough of Alabama. I'm ready for some other teams. That's kind of why I like this 4-team format. It does give the normally teams that aren't going to get consideration in the past where it was only 1-2.
But here's the thing to think about: in the SEC conference game, Georgia is going to have to play LSU. Somebody is going to lose, and if you're Alabama sitting there at 5th, you want Georgia to lose that game so you have a chance to get into the tournament.
Yeah, I'd see, and at least they still have a chance, which in years past they would be done for. They would never have a shot at the national championship.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't want somebody on a committee that majored in chemical engineering that doesn't know X's and O's to say, yeah, I have a vision.
But it was no good.
I think this team should be here.
When we come back, that brings me to my next point here. But we're going to cut to another commercial.
All right.
Okay. Second trivia question. We're talking sports controversies. Olympic events that require subjective judgments have had many controversial decisions due to honest differences of opinion of outright fraud. Most critics agree that the worst boxing decision occurred at the Seoul Olympics when this American fighter lost to a South Korean opponent. Who was that fighter?
I watched that match. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I figured I'd have to. It's not exactly a softball question, but it was easy enough.
No.
It wasn't from the 1950s.
I was actually watching that event when it happened.
All right.
Couldn't believe it then.
Yeah, this is the subjectiveness of especially in figure skating, just bugs the hell out of me.
Okay.
I'm with you there.
All right. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
Oh, poor Sugar Ray. He didn't deserve to lose that. Did you ever watch that match?
Yeah.
I mean, he beat that guy from pillar to post like the entire time, and then they gave the
because it was in Seoul.
Yeah, and I think the guy himself was like admitted
he was like what
a huge disgrace, and he was like forever he was like embarrassed that he wasn't going around saying, "Oh, I beat Sugar Ray Leonard." He was like, "I should never won against him." It's everybody looks at it and says what an embarrassment it was. He's like, please, I would have rather just lost legitimately.
You could have given it to him,
Yeah. Well, no, because there were forces much higher than him that said, take the damn medal.
Yeah.
Don't say anything
keep
about
your mouth
it.
shut.
Keep your mouth shut,
Yep.
or you'll have the black helicopter show up.
Yeah.
Outside your door.
Yeah.
But it's like when Saddam Hussein ran for. He decided we're gonna have a
Saddam.
Yeah, we're gonna have a democratic election, right? And he won 100%.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's like, you know what? If I were Saddam Hussein, I would have gone.
A few people to vote.
Yeah, exactly. I would have told a few. Okay, you 10. If I'm going to fake this thing, you 25 people are going to vote for the other guy. Don't worry, we're going to protect you, type of thing. I put 99%.
Wouldn't have mattered that much. I mean, Putin, won by like 85% of his vote, so he did that same sort of thing.
Okay. And away we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
One more time?
Where's the last segment?
No, I didn't say last time for Dave. That's the next segment.
Oh,
I said one more time.
One more time.
One more time.
There's a difference.
One time. Remember that? They do that in songs. One time.
What that?
Yeah, the monkeys used to do that. Okay, Olympic events that require subjective judgments have had many controversial decisions due to honest differences of opinion or outright fraud. Most critics agree that the worst boxing decision occurred at the Seoul Olympics when this American fighter lost to a South Korean opponent. Who was that fighter?
Jackman?
It was Sugar Ray Leonard.
No. In Seoul? Sugar Ray Leonard had retired years ago. This is in the Seoul Olympics. This happened in... Oh, wait a minute. Seoul was 1988. Sugar Ray Leonard, when did he retire? No, this is Roy Jones.
Oh, it was Roy Jones.
Roy Jones Jr.
Wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard also like robbed of
I think he was.
And I thought that was a much worse decision.
Well, I go back to the internet and check it out.
I wasn't in Korea then, so I'm sorry. Maybe it was in Japan. Maybe it was the Olympics.
Japan Olympics was 1964. When did they go back? That was Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then Mexico City, 78 or 68. Munich in 72. Montreal.
Okay, because I was thinking,
I'm remembering all this stuff.
I was totally thinking about the Sugar Ray Leonard match where he lost due to a
I remember that was 76.
76. Okay.
Yeah, in Montreal.
Sorry.
Okay. I think so. All right. So you were talking about having a chemical engineering.
He didn't win gold in 76.
Yeah. Well, he was saying that you don't want to have somebody with a chemical engineering degree, determining who's number one, but you also don't want, an Atari 800, from 1986, like determining who's number one either. That BCS computerized whole thing was awful also.
Well, remember I said I was going to get to that, something along those lines. So the Yankees hire Rachel Bakovec, I think I pronounced that correctly, as a hitting coach. First female in baseball as a full-time hitting instructor. She's going to be in the minor leagues. But so here, she has 2 master's degree in the science of human movement, but she's never played the baseball game.
Well, how does she get? Well, I mean, there's got to be more to it than that.
Well, it's.
They can hire somebody off the street, and you're my hitting coach.
Well,
she's got it. What's her name?
Rachel Bakovec, Balkovec. Did I pronounce that correctly?
B-A-L-K.
Bakovec? Something like that. The science of human movement. Well, I mean, I can understand that from, hitting, swinging a bat, the physics involved.
She's going to be an assistant or the actual coach?
Full-time hitting instructor.
See, I don't know if she's going to be able to give. She can probably give physical advice on like how your swing should be and all that stuff, but I don't think she can help you as far as like being a situational hitter and telling people like when you want to swing to, on a particular, pitcher, and that sort of the psychology that it takes to psych a pitcher out.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're correct, because again, it's the science of human movement. It's probably like, like when you look at a monkey and you go, how strong can a monkey be? But it's the physics of the
Okay, all right. Now this is first of all, she's a roving hitting instructor, so she's not with a particular team. And second of all,
so
her background is in sports, performance, science, and strength and conditioning. So she's one of those that videotapes, all the hitting and looks at the hips, the leg drive, yeah. and then she crunches the numbers on what they do against certain type of pitches, and so she's bringing that knowledge as a roving hitting instructor. She's not going to have, she's not going to spit out tobacco juice, and go up to some guy and go, no, you need to have you need to have your arms here and here, and don't dip. It's not like that.
I mean, she was hired by the Yankees.
No, but a roving hitting instructor goes from camp to camp during spring training as a consultant.
Well, how many camps do the Yankees have?
Several. I mean, look at how many levels of minor league levels they have.
Well, you mean your AAA single?
That's what she's doing.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean they got rookie league, they got A ball, they got double A ball, they got
some reason.
It does show that baseball is just so analytical.
It
crazy is now. It's just they're trying to find any kind of an edge.
This lets you know that the people are. I mean, more so than like the Giants, they're going to come up with all kinds of formulas and all the kind. And so between Farhan Zaidi, Scott Harris, and Gabe Kapler, they're going to use analytics to come up with a lineup each and every day.
Yeah, no,
it's not some guy. I'm gonna blame my hunch. I had a big game last night. I got to put him in. No, it's not like
guys run you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then what happens if your opposing team changes pitchers on you? Says we fooled you.
Well, but they have a formula for that too.
Yeah, they thought about that too. Yeah.
Unless you pick like somebody right off the street that nobody's seen before.
You ever watch the cartoon show Rick and Morty?
You know what? That is so funny. That is exactly what I thought of with the heistatron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These baseball analytics guys, they're a bunch of Ricks. These guys in a lab coat that crunch these numbers. They're like geniuses. With the number and putting together stuff.
Well, it's a cartoon show about this scientist who's really both the smartest man in the universe and also one of the biggest jerks in the universe.
Yeah.
And they did a show on. They made a parody of heist movies on Sunday, and he has an argument with a machine that he created called Heistatron that would go and figure out all these different plot contrivances to get something so that it would be a double cross. No matter what you thought of, it would then say, well, that I planned for that. So therefore, I made this happen.
That's like the Princess Bride when they're doing the...
Exactly like that.
Where it's like, if I think that you're already doing this, then I'm going to switch this around.
But I
and
thought
come at another way. But I thought that you thought, that's exactly what this...
It was like a 2-hour argument with this robot.
I mean, it was awesome. And appearing as himself, Elon Musk, only his character was Elon Tusk.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, in The Princess Bride, if you remember, what ended up happening was, the reason that the good guy won with that poison thing was he
had already taken the poison and he was just waiting for it to set in.
Yeah, it didn't matter
yes.
what he had.
Right.
Yes. So, Yeah, no,
it's
computers
cracking
only
me up.
get you so far. As a computer consultant, I can testify to all that stuff.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Moving on here. So, question: did Florida State raise $20 million in private donations to buy out Taggart's contract as he was fired after a 4-5 start?
It's not like it hasn't happened before. I mean, usually it comes in the form of whole bunch of
alumni coming together with some money.
financial
Or saying
whales.
they're going to take away their money.
Ponying up the money to get rid of this guy and bring in this guy.
And just it breaks my heart to think of what $20 million could do for a lot of charitable causes, and to go just to feed that big guys.
But
You know what we'll say? This is football, son.
exactly.
This was what we do down here.
So try to think of it. I'm not disagreeing with you, but try to think of it this term. Let's say they get rid of this guy Taggart, but they bring in somebody phenomenal, and it brings the football way up.
Like Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and ergo, which brings in a lot more money into the system. So it's sort of like, we talked about this once before on, I think on the business show, is the fact that, like, you look at Buckingham Palace, right? The king and queen, blah, 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 blah. They don't really do anything, right?
No.
But there's all this money that flows their way. However, because it's the king and queen, the Buckingham Palace, you have billions of dollars of tourist money.
True.
That come in.
Because everybody wants to go to Buckingham.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing is this: you write a better contract, and you don't have to pay that bum $20 million. You say, if you go 4-5, we can fire you, and we don't have to pay you that.
So that's what I thought about, like, performance. When these guys get baseball contracts for $200 million, it's like, yeah, but there's no like disincentive. Like, you have to get half of it back if you don't hit at least 280 or something.
Sometimes, but more and more, these players have the power to go the other way around and to get guarantees and to get bonuses that get paid up front that you can't get back. Even when you have look at like
well, that happens in the real world with like my son working for a company, and he gets a bonus to join that company. Doesn't necessarily have any specific performance. He just if he were to get fired, he'd get fired.
Yeah.
And he gets to keep the bonus.
Yeah, well, right. I've gotten fired
before.
Sign
your name. Here's a check.
Yeah, I've gotten fired before and been given a ham sandwich. So it's not exactly like a lot of other places get that kind of.
I got fired the one time I got fired was for breaking the chain of command, and they didn't even give me the ham sandwich. And I said, I go, listen, I've been fired from better places than this.
Well, there you go. That's why you work for yourself.
That's it. Exactly. It's like when I remember one time in school, on my report card, I got a D, and I brought it home to my dad. I go, listen, Dad, they don't just give Ds out to just anybody.
That's right. You got to be special.
That's right. Exactly. You didn't take it the same way.
Nah.
I only got one D in my life, and that was in college, of all things. And it's funny because now I remember some of the things I learned in that class for real life, but at the time I was so much just totally into business. I wasn't interested in this, quote, well-rounded education.
Right.
And it was dynamics of Western culture.
Oh.
And then, whatever. I just wanted to learn my accounting and tax and get the heck out of here.
How about the classes you thought were going to be a gut course, and then it turns out to be harder than you thought?
Okay, so get this. I'm in graduate school, and I'm doing the tax program. Our professor says, okay, for every class you're supposed to bring in the Internal Revenue Code. Back then it was the Internal Revenue Code of 1954. 2 big volumes back then.
Yeah.
Now it's 86 and all that. But, so we bring it in, and he says, all right, people, he goes, go to the 700 section. You go to the 700 section, and there's only 11 pages because it was partnership. And he says, rip that part out of your code. That's the only pages you're going to need for this class. And I'm going, yeah, I can ace this, man. I can memorize 11 pages. Of course, you really can't, not with the tax code. But that was my attitude, right? I'm 21 years old.
How hard could it be?
Exactly. And he says, and this is, by the way, this is going to be the hardest class you'll ever take in the whole graduate school. And I'm going, yeah, right. And he gives us an example.
At the time, you're thinking, Patriots against the Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So, and even gives us an exercise. He goes, let me give you a little example. He goes, okay, code section, 704B2 or something, right? And you look at it and it says, such and such is the case unless, and then it gives you another code section. We had to go through 16 code sections to figure out. And by then, everyone was so confused we didn't know what the answer was.
You don't even want to hear about my law school experience, but I will say that I got a D in geometry, And mainly that's because I was sitting next to a really cute girl across the.
See, did you blame it on her?
We both did really poorly because we were just flirting with each other the entire time.
So she had a thing for you
still-
too, huh?
Nah, she had a boyfriend, but you know,
But
it
she
was
still
one of
flirted with you.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
All right, guys. Now we're headed to our last commercial trivia question of sports controversies. Strikes in professional sports are a modern-day reality. Another reality is human error by referees and umpires. A perfect storm occurred for the NFL in 2012 when referees went on strike and the league hired replacements. An important game early in the season was decided by a questionable call of a simultaneous catch by a player in a game against Green Bay and missed an obvious pass interference. If I remember correctly, one referee or referee umpire whatever said touchdown, the other one said pass interference. So here was the question: who was the receiver on that end, and what team did he play for?
And
Right.
against the Packers.
Against the Packers. All right, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be right back with some closing comments.
Controversial call. Packers.
So you guys will
money
remember
game.
this one.
We never
In the
got to
2012 season.
2012.
We never got the NBA.
That's okay. We'll cover it next time. It
That's
happens.
true.
Beginning of the show.
Show just sort of goes where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It goes fast,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. You get on subjects. You go off on tangents. You can. Yeah. It's kind of a.
I could do a 3-hour show.
Yeah, it's-
I could
It's
easily.
a
kinda
bunch
like,
of guys sitting around a bar having drinks
Yeah.
after drinks.
Yeah. It's like
Yes.
it's like Seinfeld. It's a
Yes.
show about nothing. We just kind
That's
of.
it.
Yeah. We
Fair
get on the topic and we just get going.
As long as nobody complains, that where's the econ
No,
stuff?
no, we don't get that. But see, it's like poor Vern. No, I don't say poor Vern, but when you do your sports, you have just a quick 2 minutes, and I mean, you get to do kind of what you want, but there's certain things that they.
That
That you
really
gotta
like.
get.
gotta
Yeah,
get-
you gotta
yeah,
get
yeah.
to it.
But
Or-
you want to go
Or
and
you
talk
or
about
you get
some of this
calls.
stuff.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't. Yeah.
Right. But you obviously want to talk about some of this stuff, so it's great to have you have a chance.
It's funny though. The whole newsroom. This is how they react. They're all they get this flaming hard on anything the 49ers do.
Yeah.
They don't even think about the Raiders, which is the very team your station carries. And so I always when I get up, I always make it a point if we're going heavy 49ers,
Yeah.
just to mention something about the Raiders, just to
Mhm.
because there's a lot of people out there watching just going,
Sure.
well,
And it's
we
their
hate the
last
49ers.
season.
And especially since you're carrying the game.
And
Yeah.
it's their last season here.
But they just don't.
Now,
I want to
is-
say the newsy side of the newsroom, they just don't process and think
It's
that.
funny. I'd almost think it would be the opposite. It's like we're carrying the Raiders, and we're going to cover the Raiders. And oh, by the way, there's this 49er team that we should
You know,
talk
you
about.
guys
because
still
it's,
gonna be
because
covering the
it's
Raiders?
a bunch of mamby-pamby fringe fan
when they go to
people out there,
Vegas.
mostly women,
Yeah.
that just they just harp on the 49ers. I mean, this is
Especially since Garoppolo
this-
is
this-
good rookie.
well, I mean, it's a soft market, and
Yeah.
so and it's the market that tends to trend toward the winning team.
Sure.
And if you're not winning, then people
Well, last year, the 49ers-
Philadelphia,
yeah.
Chicago. I'm talking about tradition. I mean, where they're winning or not. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
talk about them.
Sure.
They're relevant. So, but because the Bay Area is so transient, where you got a lot of people from somewhere else, it's just kind of the way it is. Like Philadelphia fans
Yeah.
grew up in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Same with
No,
Chicago.
yeah.
Same with New York. I mean, it's not a transient
No, that's
sports
true.
market.
That's true.
Boston.
How often do you get calls on people complaining about stupid things?
Well, we'll get not so much. Well, not so much with the shows that we do now, because I think we do a pretty good job of balancing, things out.
Yeah.
But you'll get the occasional call. If it used to be if you went big on if you went big on the Giants, we get calls about not mentioning the A's. Maybe the A's swept the team over the weekend. And we just kind of, oh, by the way.
You'll mention it, but it's just
Now, are you gonna still cover the Raiders?
As opposed,
When they go to Vegas?
I think
how's that gonna work?
I think it's going to be just like it was when the Raiders left the first time. I wasn't working here in the market at the time, but all the stations covered the Raiders that first year in Los Angeles.
Of course,
After that first
still
year,
California though. You know, I mean, this going to Vegas.
yeah, but
is
it's
a
not.
little
But it's
different.
not. It's not the view. It's not our market.
No, yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's not our market. So after that first year, they were like, okay, this is LA's team, and we're going to back off. And so I suspect the same will happen because of the newness of it all,
Yeah.
and how and because the wounds are still open of them actually leaving.
Yeah.
And the fact that we will continue to carry the gains because of the trending appeal to the market.
Yeah.
I think that first year.
Well, especially how it depends on how they do. Too.
Yeah, we'll go to Vegas the first year, and then after that it'll be that.
Interesting.
Unless our sales department has sold so much advertising, where the stage is making so much money that the sports department is generating, then they'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested.
It's all about revenue.
It's all about the money.
I'm going to be really interested to hear how that trends. When next year, if they're still popular or whether they, especially if the Niners are really a great team like they continue to be this year, if people would just say, okay, fine, the Raiders are so in Vegas.
Yeah, but then how does it look? How do the optics look if they go to Vegas, you stop and you carry the gains, but you don't do anything with them, and it's all 49ers, a team whose games are on Channel 2 all the time. And if they're not on Channel 2, then they're either on ESPN. If they're not on ESPN, then they're on NBC Sunday Night Football.
Right.
I still can't go Channel 11. That's just so weird. Because
there's only 2 games out of the year where the Niners are on CBS.
And CBS will probably want to, maybe just start getting, random games,
CBS is smart. I mean, they go with a hot hand. If the Niners, a Bay Area team, are playing an AFC team and it's a CBS game, then Channel 5 will carry the game.
I assume you guys have to bid for it and compete against Channel 2.
No, because there's contracts in place.
Yeah.
The NFC has a contract with Fox.
Ah, gotcha.
The AFC has a contract with CBS.
Ah, okay.
And NBC has paid enough money where they can flex the schedule and take a pairing of 2 hot teams to put them in prime time.
We're missing out on great material for the show.
Well, we only have 2.5 minutes.
We can do that the next time.
Yeah.
But it's a real interesting business.
You're right. The flex stuff is huge business.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. I like saying that. Russell Jackman.
Fine.
Okay, so controversies in sports. Strikes in professional sports are a modern-day reality. Another reality is human error by referees and umpires. A perfect storm occurred for the NFL in the 2012 season when referees went on strike and the league hired replacements. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. An important game early in that season was decided by a questionable call of a simultaneous catch by a player in a game against Green Bay. So basically 2 players went up for it. It was simultaneous, caught it at the same time. And it looked like it says it was against Green Bay, missed an obvious pass interference call. So if I remember correctly, this offensive player pushed off, caught the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was a touchdown. Another one was calling it
offensive pass interference.
But I believe the touchdown
it stood?
It stood. Who was that receiver? Okay. I can't remember. So the team was Seattle. Remember Seattle playing Green Bay? And they had these guys who didn't look so good doing referee job.
2012. I hate to say this, but since 2012, there have been so many bad calls. It's hard to say.
I'll just give you the name.
It's all blurred.
This was Golden Tate.
Tate.
Okay, so
he's been playing that long. I kind of
still playing. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. For next week, we're gonna have to cover a lot more stuff. We didn't get a chance to cover a whole bunch of stuff.
So much content to get to.
I got pages and pages.
You need a longer show.
That's true. We'll just have to ask the station to make it longer. You guys, 6-hour show, right?
If we can get the advertising for it, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Okay. All right, here's our thoughts for the day. Talent may get you on the field, but it's effort and attitude that will keep you there. And Leo DeRocher said, remember Leo the Lip? He said, baseball is like church. Many attend, few understand. Tune in next week, actually, to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So
See ya. All right. Wow. Again.
That's the show.
That's
the show. All right. So next week, how are we looking next week? Now
I'll be coming back from Kansas City on Monday, so I can only do it on Tuesday.
Tuesday will work.
December 3rd.
Okay, I've got an 11:30. What's the earliest you can do?
Earliest I
10
can
is
do on
about
Tuesday?
as good
Yeah.
for me. 10 is.
I mean, I could. What are you thinking about?
Well, I've got an
Going at
11.
9,
I've
9:30?
got an 11:30 luncheon in Novato. So as long as I can leave here.
So if you wanted to do, when we
Yeah, we're going to Novato, and I can be there in
that's
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's too far for him to go, unless you have stuff to do in Novato.
I don't know. You want to do what, like next Tuesday, 9:30?
Can we do it
9:30 work?
9:30?
Move up a
Yeah,
half hour.
yeah, because my kids will be back in school, so I'll just, as long as I don't have to get, they get to school at 8:30, so give me enough time.
Where they school?
Rancho, but which is right next to my house. We get a huge amount of traffic right in front of our house.
School drop
So
off.
it has to clear out by 8:45, and then I get in the car, and I should be able to get down here as long as there's no traffic.
Okay.
And the traffic's not bad.
Here.
See, when I come at 10, like, traffic is totally dispersed. That's why
Yeah.
it's like kind of perfect.
This one's kind of a little bit of an anomaly. Okay. Excellent, Tito. That's for you, sir.
Oh, good boy.
We've got that for you.
Oh,
I don't get any pizza.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hold on. Don't go anywhere yet. We'll be we're talking. You and me, we're talking.
Okay.
He's got growing boy. Actually, you got twins.
Yeah, I have twins, so
How
I'm
old are they?
8.
Yeah, I bet they could eat a lot.
8.
Yes.
God, I don't even remember 8.
I
8.
know. Well,
Jeez.
It's so funny. I still remember going over to your house when we were going out one time, and your oldest now, he was the only child at the time, and you pointed at the TV. Hey, SpongeBob!
Oh,
And I
wow.
go, what is a SpongeBob?
Oh.
That was the beginning of SpongeBob. That was
Wow, yeah.
years ago.
yes.
Yep.
Now the guy who did it's dead.
Now he's almost 21.
Wow.
Yeah, we got almost 21, 18, and 15.
Is he headed to school?
He's at the University of Redlands.
Oh, okay.
Down in LA. He's a junior at Redlands. I got a freshman at USC.
Oh, wow.
And I got the high school sophomore at Canada.
USC. Obviously, you got to keep working.
Yeah.
USC.
Actually, he got a scholarship. Didn't
He got a nice,
That's terrific.
he got a nice academic scholarship.
That's terrific.
But still, I mean,
Still, yeah.
the remaining balance of that and
Yeah.
Redlands, it's up there, man.
Is he working too, or still just going to school?
The oldest,
Yeah.
he comes home and works during the summer.
Okay. What's he do?
He's when he works over the summer, he's a swim coach.
Cool. Okay,
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah. Swim
Yeah,
coach.
you know, my friend Paul Kingsman, he moved to South Carolina. At Rascal.
Did he?
Yeah. It's like he was an Olympic swimmer. And,
Okay.
and I don't know if he ever taught swimming, but I mean, he could obviously do it. But yeah, I called him up one time and said, "Hey,
lot cheaper to live in South Carolina.
That's true.
Yeah,
Big time.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nice place too, like
Mhm.
Charleston.
Oh, you can get Charleston. That's
I think
real.
that's
That's really
That's
nice.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I hear.
That's good Southern living, Charleston,
Until the
South
hurricane hit.
Carolina.
Until the
Well, it depends
hurricane
on where
hit.
you're
Yes.
at in South Carolina, but
And it's not, and in that part of the country, it's not dinner.
it's
It's
supper.
supper. No, not supper.
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 Supper. Well, it's funny because he's got that New Zealand accent. So,
Right. You're not from around here.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
My name's Cletus. What's yours?
Cletus.
And
Who would name Cletus?
the
Unless you're a
bugs there
baseball
are so
player.
big they have first and last names.
Yeah.
So the insects there are not to be.
Yeah.
I gotta let this thing run for 1
Yeah,
minute and 15 seconds. They make me do this thing for. I'm gonna try to get this on CMCM.
Okay.
Because it goes from 56 to 59 minutes. So they're. I got 1 minute to do.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna see you next Tuesday morning.
Next Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
See you next
9:30.
Tuesday. Do you have
I won't be
Russell?
as.
Do you have 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hang around for just a little bit.
Be as jet lag as I am now. Jeez.
Break in this couch here. Nice, actually.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tried it out at Scandinavian Designs, and I go, yeah, I
Sold.
yeah. I said it's perfect size. I think I measured ahead of time. I go, I think it'll fit, and it's big enough for me, so I don't have to like cramp in.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I like it.
Yeah, I hate those like you get those like little ones, and you can't like put your feet all the way through.
Mm.
In fact, this one he folds down, so if I wanted to really sleep on it,
Oh,
bring it out.
There you go. True futons. True.
The wife's
futons
got
fan.
something on me. I got a
Yeah.
place to go, man.
That's right. Just get a little flat screen about right there.
That's it.
Cable.
That's it. Hey, that's a good
You're
idea.
done. All right, I'm gonna hit the head on my way out, but